It's really kind of difficult and takes every literary ounce of my courage to speak to people that look very much like you, the literary minds. And on the other hand, would this be a problem if I introduce you again to a fresh edition of Behind the Words, a program that speaks to you, in the line of literature? It talks about literature, it gives you everything you need to know about a work of art. I'm Hassan Abdusalam, and with me, as usual, is the prolific writer, Mr. Eric Andova Nsota. Mr. Eric, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
And don't forget that in our last episode, we started with, giving an overview of one of the books that was written by Mr. Eric, that is The Ghost Gone. We started, digesting some of the outer aspect of the Ghost Gone, and right now we are trying to see how we can start flipping through the pages of The Ghost Gone. So I suggest you stay tuned to your television set and watch as everything unfolds. Mr. Eric, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
In our last episode, we started an overview of the entire book of The Ghost Gone, and where you gave us everything, almost everything, about how the book came into being.
Exactly.
Now, and on this very episode, we are trying to see how we can go into the book. We start flipping through the pages of this book and see how we can bring out the big picture behind the words of the book. And the first and second paragraph of the book. Let's start opening the book now. Let's go to page 3. That's the first and second paragraph in page 3. I'll read.
All right.
The smoke engulfed the village of Ajay, if I'm correct in the
Yes,
pronunciation,
very correct.
Ajay, and the sound was not a cheerful one. The ennui times sang aloud, persisted. The innocent souls responded. Painful pleasure, names of the power and the powerless once hacked upon us. The ghostly day had arrived and handpicked the mighty ones. The habitable village that was sheltered with good deeds now shifted ground for ghost guns. Let's see what this one is carrying, the message this one is carrying, the picture behind this.
All right.
Let's start with this very first thing.
All right.
First paragraph.
You can see the first paragraph of the book is written. I started it in a flashback.
Okay.
And what is a flashback? It is a device that is used to recall past events in order to throw more light to the present situation. I try to cast people's back mind to see, to really give them a picture of what the people were going through. Because I say that the ghost gone was ravaging the village of Aji and picking the mighty ones, which is very common in our society today. You say day in, day out, people are dying, and people that are dying are people that has value or they could add value to the society. You could see that these people, they are just going into their early grave. And these are the people, energetic men, that if you allow them, they can be able to bring good initiative into the society. So, Azza, who is the protagonist of the novel, started having a flashback when he was at the farm, trying to recall when the society was okay. But now it has shifted ground for the ghost to go. People are not even comfortable to sit at home. They even some prefer to stay in the bush, just like other animals, which is very unacceptable in our contemporary society. So that was how I opened the book in a flashback.
Okay, so the entire paragraph now is in the past.
Yes, he was only recalling the past event to see how the society, the people were living in harmony. But the harmonious relationship is now shattered with the introduction of non-gun, which was ravaging the lives of people.
Wow. Okay, now let's move forward. Let's go into the second paragraph. The second paragraph I would read. The ambassadors of poverty. Yeah. Who are these ambassadors of poverty?
The common
The
people.
common people.
Yes.
Wow.
They are the ambassadors of the poverty.
That's a great coinage, Mr.
Yes. We are the common people are the ones facing the music. You understand?
Yeah.
While those who are playing, they are comfortable. While the dancers are the ones suffering. So the common people are the ambassadors.
Wow. Okay, the ambassadors of poverty are sent to represent our land with their heads abroad and in-us at home.
Yes.
Their heads abroad
And at
and
home.
in-us at home.
Yes. Sometimes you see, when I was in school, or when you're in school, you could see how many strikes you witnessed in school during your undergraduate days and all
True.
that. But there are some of our friends and all our friends, they are okay, comfortably schooling outside abroad. They don't face the same challenges we face. So these are the kind of people. Some of them, their children are somewhere enjoying life, while the commoners are here suffering, going through one difficulties and the other.
Okay, there's this striking misunderstanding,
Okay.
on the very second paragraph that I've started reading,
Yes.
and on the first sentence.
Yes.
You said the ambassadors of poverty.
Yes.
Now, like you explained, the ambassadors of poverty is a great coinage, actually.
Yes.
But then you said the ambassadors of poverty are the downtrodden, the
Yes.
people who are facing the music. You understand?
Yes.
The poor people are the ones that you are referring to, the ambassadors of poverty. But here you said are sent to represent our land with their heads abroad and anus at home.
Yes. All right. Now, let me maybe bring it closer, maybe within the local context. Now, you see, sometimes during elections, these are the kind of people, they are being pushed forward with fantastic promises.
Yeah.
If I come to power, if you do this, in fact, I will make sure there's constant electricity. I will make sure I build fantastic roads and all these things. These people are carried away. They go in front to search so that at least let them gain their freedom. So that if you vote somebody in power, at least everything will be at your beck and call. Once this is achieved, they become history. So they are also what I was trying to paint out or to put forward is they are also serve as instruments that they are being used. And once they use them, they dump them.
Wow.
These same people, these same commoners, the elites sometimes use them to achieve what they want. And once they achieve that, they are being abandoned.
Wow. Okay, now let's move on. It said the gynecologists are now in our land to treat the mental conditions of men,
Yes.
leaving out the women's condition.
Yes.
The gynecologists, like everybody knows,
Yes.
you understand, gynecologists are women, are doctors
Yes,
who
yes.
are specialists,
Yes.
on women. But now, here, they are leaving the women condition now facing the men.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
You see, in English, we have the connotative and the denotative usage of language. And in writing, we use the connotative usage, not the denotative. The denotative are exact meaning of words as they appear in the
Yes,
dictionary.
yes.
While the connotative are just things suggested by a word. So sometimes, if you notice the killing in the society, few weeks back, you see Governor Zurum of Borno State was attacked.
Yes,
like how many
yes,
times?
Yes.
Most at times, people that are being killed or they attacking people that has value. Sometimes you see, it's not every madman on the street that somebody can go and kill anyhow. Sometimes you've been hearing cases of how many journalists kidnaps here, that they are looking for ransom, 10 million. If you go and kidnap somebody that can barely afford a 3 square meal and you ask for 10 million as ransom, who will pay? Nobody will pay. So they target the prominent people, the important people in the society, people they know that they can be able to add value. Young young and energetic people, especially the upcoming youth, as in they try to target this category of people, and at the end, you waste their life. If you have been in my state, you could understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
Most people that are dying day in, day out through the barrels of gun are those people that the society is looking up to. People that society people are saying, okay, one day they could be of help in one way or the other. These are the kind of people that have been eliminated. So common people, sometimes they are not being. You see, somebody that has no value will be going on the street without any problem. But people that has value, you see, these are the people that they are targeting. And sometimes They even point hand. See that one, go and kill that person and do this and that. How would our society develop in this kind of circumstances? It becomes difficult.
Wow. All right. The more you look,
Yes.
the less you see. This sortie attack on our people has to be fortified. There must be a fortune smile on the faces of our people. This foul play, or this foul play game,
Yes.
must stop. Isn't it enough for us to stop building foxholes for our children?
Yes. You see, sometimes if you look at it from literary perspective, you
Yes.
could understand that just the way we say in the first episode, the ghost gun.
Yes.
There is a ghost behind the gun. That is to say that sometimes you see this killing, there are shadows behind it. Then they push people forward, and this is happening. And sometimes we don't realize that what we are doing, we are treading on a very dangerous pathway, because the holes that we are digging, they are there waiting for our children, even the unborn ones, or generation upon generations. Because as you go, another generation is coming and they will pass through this. Just like you are reading a book. When Tino Achebe wrote, things fell apart. Up till
Yes.
today, even if he is no more, we are reading it. We are being even examined, even the examination hole, through the content of the book and all that. So whatever the legacy you are leaving, always bear it in mind that people are coming to also pass through the same way. And sometimes the early tend to forget that what they are doing, the younger ones are watching. And that is what it becomes difficult to change our society today. Because the younger ones are watching what the elderly ones are doing. And when they come, they follow the same way. You understand?
Yes,
Because
yes.
a goat cannot give birth to a cow. You understand?
Yes.
So they still follow the same way. And it becomes difficult. Sometimes people are agitating, okay, let's include the younger people in the system. Maybe they feel it is the old people that always in the system, in government and all that. Now they just sign a bill, not too young to.
To rule. Yes.
You understand? Wait, how are we sure that if same people come in, they will change the situation or it will be different? It will be very difficult because we have godfathers and they train you in such a way that even if they move away, you can also follow their steps.
And it's so funny that sometimes if you decide to do something different, they tend to look for a way to just do away with you.
That is just it.
Because if you're not, they said if you're in Rome, you act like Romans do.
Yes,
That's
yes.
the system.
They
Yeah.
put you there and they determine what you do. So we must understand that.
All right, Mr. Eric, let's go out on a quick break and we'll come back and carry on with our discussion.
All right.
And I hope you're with us. We are discussing the Ghost Gun. We have started, flipping through the pages of the Ghost Gun. We have just started, so you should stay glued to your television set. We'll go out on a quick break and we'll come back and continue. Welcome back to Behind the Words. In case you're just joining us, we are here talking about the Ghost Gun. Like we have started, on this very show. We started with, giving you the overview of the entire book, The Ghost Gun, as written by Mr. Eric. Is right here in the studio with me, and right now we have started flipping through the pages so that we can know the very big picture behind the words. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Mr. Eric. Let's move on. I will open to page 8 on a second paragraph on page 8. I will read.
All right.
You wrote, life in Lagos is like a prison, as one is always mindful of serving his own punishment. Mr. Eric,
Yes.
life in Lagos is like a prison. There has to be a reason why you said life in Lagos is like a prison.
Yeah.
Because in Lagos there are different sets of people, different kinds of people in Lagos. We have, in fact, the Lagos, as we know it, Lagos State in Nigeria is a state of excellence,
Yes.
if I may correct. And you said the people, the life in Lagos, which means the people living life in Lagos, they are living a life of a prisoner. Why did you say that?
Oh, let's take it out of context.
Okay.
You see, you see, in Lagos, everybody. Sometimes you look at the setting. During in the course of this Ghost Gone, people were displaced in various places, and some could find themselves in Lagos. I just use it. Now you could see that in Lagos, people are just mindful of what they are doing. No one cares. No one cares. Hardly. You hardly hear issue of killing, even if they are not, even if they are there, but it is not much. You see, there are just few instances.
So if I get you right now,
So-
you are trying to strike a similitude of life in Lagos, like a life, a prisoner
Yes.
will serve in jail.
Yes.
Because everybody will mind his own
You
business.
mind your
Everybody is
business.
also is
You
already
know
a
what
criminal.
brought you there.
Everybody
Yours
is
is
already
not mad. I'm sure you like. You understand?
Yes.
Everybody's busy. You
So
focus
everybody
on
is
what
serving his
you
own
serve.
term.
Yes. And so there, everybody's looking for his or her own daily bread. Who cares? Nobody. But unlike other places, everybody, what people are looking at you, even things that don't even concern
So whatever
them.
you do is their business.
Yes.
But in Lagos, it's not like that.
It's not like that.
Wow.
Not at all. And I can even give you a clear example of recent. The Mark Zuckerberg, the
Yes.
founder of Facebook, was there in Lagos, and he was moving free without escort on the street of Lagos. This is the kind of environment that attracts investors, employment opportunities, not the killing field like the street of Libanos or in other places. He cannot go to other states and move like that without a security escort. So these are the kind of environment. It's just a kind of comparison. You understand?
Yes, I
To
understand.
compare, to see such state, they are moving forward. There is at least you could see the kind of development that is taking place over there. So it's a kind of comparison. And when you look at it in other society or in other states, such is not achievable or obtainable.
All right, let's go on. No one cares to know what one does, like you have explained. Some could work and sleep in their offices. Some children don't even know their parents, as parents are always up and doing.
Yes.
It is only in Lagos that one could see women on buses as conductors and keke napep riders. What kind of life is this? He gave out a thought but could not ascertain what to do other than obtain a license in BRT as a conductor. He joined the League of BRT Bosses and started waving to Ikeja to Oshodi, Agege to Yaba, mainland to Apapa, Badagry to Kosofe, and Surulere to Ikorodu.
Yes.
The hostile nature of the job and the stigma passengers placed on conductors' faces angered him, but he was left with no choice but to continue with the job.
Yes.
Half bread is better than none.
Yes. That is a kind of allusion, a reference given to something. When the killings become tense in Aje village, the protagonist of the novel moved away from the village.
Okay.
You understand? And he found himself in Lagos. Coming from a village to a city like Lagos, life was quite difficult. But somehow, somewhere, he was able to at least find confidence. He could sleep, even though the Azza, who is the protagonist, could not see a house. He only constructed some sticks. He gathered them and constructed a cubicle, where he was able to manage and sleep on his cot, on which he called a mattress. But life was at least offer him better opportunity than where he was living in the village, eat free food and everything, but he was not at peace. So I was trying to make it's a kind of a reference. Lagos was just there as a reference.
So why did you pick Lagos as the plot?
All right. If you could remember, I served in Lagos.
Okay. Okay.
And as a writer and as a copper then, I was able to study things in Lagos. And I could able to situate them in the context of my writing. And that is why I picked Lagos. I wrote a book when I was in Lagos. And that could give me a clear picture so that I could now have a kind of nexus between how life were there in the village and that of city. Even in movies, sometimes you see.
So you picked your protagonist now,
Yes,
from the village,
yes,
and dropped him in
yes,
Lagos.
so that I can make a kind of comparison, the life they are living, especially in urban area, compared to what is happening in the city, so that you could understand the picture. And that was why I picked Lagos.
Wow. Wow. And all these places you have mentioned, like these places, Ikeja, Oshodi, Agege, Yaba, Mainland, Apapa, Badagry, Kosofe, and Surulere, and Ikorodu. Have you been to all these places?
Somehow, Ikorodu that's where I serve, the local
Wow.
government where I serve.
Wow.
And in the course, I used to move around and all that. And to be honest, life was okay in those places. And I felt that if life could be like that in our society, we will not be having all these issues, all this bloodshed and all that. We will not be having them.
I need to ask you a question
Go ahead.
about the protagonist, your main character,
Yes.
Aza. Who is Aza? Where did you get are you, because from what you told me in the first instance when we had the first session, you said Aza, you understand, Aza, and the novel itself is a non-fiction,
Yes.
but you painted it like a fiction.
Yes.
Who is Aza?
All right. We live in a society. Nigeria is a society that is hugely diverse with different people. If you look at the way my choice of characters, I picked them across different culture. You understand?
Yes.
You could see even Yoruba characters in the novel, which means I did not limit it within a particular culture. Aza is a thief name. It's a thief name by tradition.
Yes.
So I pick Aza. That is to represent a typical African society by a native name. You understand?
Yes.
Now, I try to bring in characters that cut across different culture. Since Nigeria is a homogeneous society, we try to bring in different people that could paint a clear picture in the minds of people. Because sometimes characters, as in, they play a key role in writing. People are so sometimes anxious to know. If you read Things Fall Apart, I always fall back on that book because I love it.
Yeah.
If you
Very
see
lovely
the
book.
attributes of Okonkwo, it will represent a clear or a typical African names. And the attributes of Okonkwo is what everyone is similar or obtainable to what everyone is doing. You remember in the novel, Okonkwo was this person that believed power settles everything.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
And most of these things, that is what is obtainable here. People don't believe in dialogue, they believe that power. I have the power, let me use the power. You understand?
Yes.
So I use Aza. Aza was a brave man in Aje village. Despite, if you read through the book, you could see that things were happening, but people were mute. Nobody was talking. But at a point in time, he asked himself, how can a caliber person like me, a man of my type, be in this village? And I was trying to point out something. Things are happening in this society. Let's not forget that people are watching, people are seeing, especially the youth. One day, they will rise up and they will try to change the entire system.
Wow.
So that was the kind of picture I was trying to put forward, using Aza as the protagonist of the novel. And protagonist is the leading character. So everything was falling back on him. So he was even in Lagos in the novel, so that he could compare the situation in the city and what he was passing through in the village. Hardly you hear cases of gun and all these things, but at least sometimes we are able to ascertain the root causes of all these things. But unlike in the village, sometimes nobody cares. Who will be there? Even the so-called representatives, they are not there to witness what is happening. And no one cares. So if the youth there will not arise and take the bull by the horns, nobody. And that was a clear case with Asa.
All right. Let's move on with the next paragraph. On page 9, the very first paragraph on page 9, you wrote,
Yes.
the piano of success can only be played by people who can take heart and be brave enough. The inclination of one's success depends on one's ability to take the bull by the horns. It is only men with brave hearts that can quench the fire that bedevil the world one lives in. The fact about this world is terrible and questionable. Others are born great, while others are born to strive and achieve that greatness. Life is a journey that many people embark upon, but only a few reach their destination. The owners' festivities delve into the pathway one has taken, as nothing good comes easy. The way you dress your bed, so you lie on it.
Yes.
This common adage reflects the true color of this planet.
Yes.
There's a striking confusion here.
All right.
Yes, a striking confusion
All
here.
right.
This very paragraph, you, the writer, you're trying to paint a certain picture, you know, and trying to make your readers see the picture you're painting. Having talked about Lagos here, you now decide to paint a picture here. Now, what is the big picture behind these words?
Okay. The big picture here is that, you see, things are happening in our society. But we're keeping quiet too much. You understand? Nothing good comes easy. If we keep, for how long can we continue living in this penury? For how long can we continue living a life of hand to mouth? From hand to mouth. How long can we continue this kind of life? Today they tell us this, that, and we believe the story. These are polygamy. We believe that this, oh, Nigeria will be better, things will be better, our society will be this and that. Great. But where? Few days I was reading the speech of the president. Fine, painting a picture. I love the speech. Oh, we want a harmonious society. You know, a society that will be without bloodshed. Yet, it's everything. This is not what we want. We have been saying this, okay, I will do this, I will do this and that. Let's see the change. Let's see it in reality. And not on paper, so using words. Let's see this thing. Let's see the society transforming. It is easy to say.
Yeah.
But it is difficult to do. You understand?
Yes, I do.
I could remember Barack Obama once said, it is easy to see what is different about people. And it is very difficult to look inward and then re-examine ourselves to see actually what is different about people. You understand?
Yeah.
So sometimes we say, yes, we want this and that. But if put ourselves in the shoes of what people are passing through, we can be able to do something. You understand? It is not enough to tell us everybody wants a free society, a society without bloodshed. But how can we achieve this? Let's see the reality on ground. Let's see this. Let's see things in places. People are suffering, no job. See how many youths are there. But you are telling us this. When you don't eat well, how can you even think straight? People are telling you this, that. Nobody will listen to you. You're only just painting words and people are looking at the words and laughing. It will not have impact on people. So let's see the dream of Nigeria, of our society, comes into totality and reality.
All right. Before we go on a break, let me ask you just one question.
Oh.
How hopeful are you in this country? How hopeful are you on, the rehabilitation of your country?
You see, I'm a Nigerian.
Yes.
This is my country. I have no country other than this.
True.
I love the country. You understand?
Yes.
And I still have that confidence. I'm very optimistic that one day things will change. You understand? Things of recent, the Edo election, governorship election, you could see at least somehow the vote of people were able to count in a way. It's a good start. If you continue this way, maybe very soon we'll be witnessing the Ondo election or that. If this thing continue and is reflecting, people will begin to have confidence. I still have I have this thing, highly hope that one day things will change, because it's a journey. As we keep moving, we know that one day there are people, even if we say Nigeria is a corrupt country, we still have honest people. And one day, these honest people, they will take the seat and things will turn around.
All right, let's go on a quick break. We'll come back and see how we can still move on the same lane. Yes, we always say that tomorrow never dies. Mr. Eric has given us another, angle where we can have hope in our country. We'll go out on a quick break, and when we'll come back, we'll continue the Ghost Gone. Welcome back to Behind the Words. In case you're just joining us, we have been talking about, issues in The Ghost Gone, a book we started from our last episode, and we are still on it. We have started flipping through the pages, and the writer here, Mr. Eric, is elucidating, so many aspects of the book. He's giving us the big picture behind so many paragraphs in the book. Welcome back, Mr. Eric.
Thank you.
Let's turn to page 10 of the book.
All right.
I'll read out the paragraph, the last paragraph in page 10. You wrote, "The deadly sticks exploded and turned a whole battalion of Ajay into corpses. No one has ever experienced such in this land, but the ghost gun brought catastrophe in abundance. Farewell, my lost Ajay. Farewell, my dear people, whose pain excites shame in me. But I promise, for your honor, this massacre will call the end of the war." He narrowed down his head on the small curtain called bed in his cubicle and fell asleep.
Yes.
What's the picture?
That is the protagonist speaking.
Okay. Wow.
Representing the youth in this perspective.
Okay.
Now, things are happening.
Well, he's been hopeful here.
Yes. He feels the pains of his people. He feels the pains of what people are actually passing through. And he is positive that one day people like him will join hands together and they can be able to fight for their people. He is still hopeful. Despite what we are seeing or witnessing today, that does not mean it's the end of the world. Things are going bad, but certainly one day we will live to change the entire system. And the protagonist highly believe, and as a writer, I do know that how long it will take, but there is a day that everything will end. Nigeria will be a country that everybody wants to come, wants to live in. It will be hard. The challenges, the hosts, they are there. That is what you could see from the beginning. I said that it takes a brave heart. Once with a brave heart to change a particular scenario. If you have a baby heart, you cannot. Because even success itself is not achieved by accident, but for those who keep on trying. You keep knocking, you keep
knocking at the door of success. Yes.
People that created all these things were sometimes things that we are using today. The great leaders, people like Nelson Mandela and among others, Martin Luther King Jr. When you see this kind of people, these are the people that we are working, even within the local context. These are people that were working. People like Sir Shehu Shagari, all these things. You see the Nnazi Azikiwe and all this. These were leaders that were working. If you read The Trouble with Nigeria, you could
Yeah.
see at the end what late Chinua Achebe painted out.
Yes, yes.
People like Malam Aminu Kano
Yes.
lives here, and the country will not be the same. These were people that we are trying. We still have the same people. We still have some people living with us. And I am sure that one day they will rise up and they will change the entire system.
All right, let's move on. There's in page 12, there's a striking poem, the entire poem actually,
Yes.
that you have written here. I'll read out the poem.
All right.
You wrote, "My people, we are going soldiering. Mad the rhythm runs, with killing and with sad trumpeting and stigmatization of the guns. I have come home again. I know that blood is red. I know how sudden the rain falls, where flesh lies dead. In front of the gate the gun stands. Above, untidy clouds, are the faces of sadness. The night keeps attacking like fighters, while men in masks from the squadron's rifles. My heart travels miles away to my native land. My dream intertwines with sadness like a loom. Innocent, we have endured a year in the bush, using our tears for ink to turn our thoughts into verses." You know, I read one of my mentors, that is Mr. John Jeppe. He wrote the verses of Vitroy. When I read the poem, it's an anthology. You know, I read some of his poems, and they have a striking similitude with that of yours. Now, let's start from the first stanza, where you said, "My people, we are going soldiering. Mad the rhythm runs, with killing and with sad trumpeting and stigmatization of the guns."
Yeah. You see, despite the killings we are witnessing, we don't have nowhere to go. Just like one scholar once said that it will come a time that the foreign countries will not be comfortable for we Nigerians, and we prefer to live here in our own country. A typical, in fact, as if I know, a typical example, you have seen the issue of Corona today.
Yes.
Nobody was able to travel out. All of us were here. If we are to live indoor, we stay there. Nobody will escape. So there will come a time we must all realize that, okay, we need to build Nigeria. The same hospital you go, the same hospital a common person will attend. During the COVID-19, you see some cartoons. I think I did a research, a paper, internet meme in the fight against COVID-19. You could see there's this cartoon that you see a politician was, when they were taking him to a hospital, one local hospital, like, was saying, no, I'm a politician, I can't attend that kind of hospital. And they say, this is your project. You understand? So it will come a time, instead of us to rise up and address the issue, so that we make this Nigeria, our society here, a better one, so that everybody will live happy. We have this kind of fellowship with people. Everybody will live and smile. Sometimes we feel, we destroy our own, we travel out, we come back, rest and go back. But it will come a time you will not be fortunate to even stay, because when the hungry people are awake, even you that is eating, you will be
They will devour you.
Yes. That is just it. So that was the kind of picture that I was trying to paint behind the world.
Okay. Okay, the second stanza. He said, "I have come home again. I know that blood is red." What do you mean? I have come home again,
Yes.
and I know that blood is red. Yes, blood is red.
Yes.
But there's something you're trying to say here.
Yes. You see, that's an irony. Sometimes you see, just like when you see the brilliant student score 0. You understand? How can the brilliant student score 0? We know blood and we know it's red. All right. Now, the protagonist was asking himself. Sometimes when things are happening, we feel, okay, we escape. We go to a comfort place where we sit and enjoy our lives and all that. But remember that you have people at the back to take care of. And you know what they are passing through. They are dying. We know the situation on ground. We know what people are passing through day in, day out. We must have that bold mind to come back and face the situation on ground. Even if it matters killing people or moving other categories of people to have peace, we should be able to do that. And I do appreciate Governor Zulu. Despite all these attacks here and there, the man is still focused. This is the kind of leaders we want. Leaders who see blood and see face the blood. They know that this is danger and they still go into. He was in Baga. He know that the zone is not safe, yet he went there. These are the kind of people that have people. I'm not a politician. But sometimes we should be able to cite examples. If truly we have this kind of people all over, things will be better. People that we know this is what our people are facing or are suffering from, and they have the capacity and the ability, boldness to face the situation and address it. At least it's trying. And I urge, at least if in our society we have men of that caliber, things will be better in a way.
Yeah. Okay, the third stanza. You said, in front of the gate, the gun stands. This is, I've forgotten what they call it in literature, but obviously not the physical gun, but the person holding the gun,
Yes,
or the
yes.
killer himself. All right. Now, in front of the game, the gun stands. Above, untidy clouds are the faces of sadness. The night keeps attacking like fighters, wild men in masks from the squadron's rifles.
Yes. Now, you see, I was trying to address men in mask. Now, you see, what is happening in our society today? People hardly sleep. You sleep with one eye open, one eye closed. Why? In this situation, people should be able to sleep.
And snore.
Yes, feel free. But hardly people. Sometimes even a friend will knock at your door in the night and you'll be, who is that?
Be frightened.
Sometimes you ask, who is at the door? Why don't you just go and open? Because your mind is not certain. You are not free. You are either thinking it's an armed robber or something. Hey, this should not be obtained in a society. Day in, day out, you see many masks attacking. Some people cannot even travel around Kaduna to Abuja Road. Why? Because of the fear of anxiety, all this kind of, if I travel, I don't know, except people that have the means that travel air.
By air.
So if you don't have the means, what happens? You go follow the same way, and you become scared. If I go through, if I pass through without any, thank God. For how long can we continue living like this? Every day we're living in fears. Men in the mask will attack us and all these things. Society is not free. You heard how many kills today? Life has become so cheap that sometimes I don't even know. Today, even death is no more. Even people, we mention 10 people died. People are not scared. But this was not inobtainable before. People used, when you see somebody, you'll be scared. But today, death has become something that as if we joke with it, we laugh with it. One's life is not, even some animals, their life is even precious than a human. Which is very, very...
Okay, Mr. Eric, let's go out in a quick break. We'll come back and see how we can round off. Still on this poem, I was reading. We are not done with it. The last stanza, I want to have some questions. I want to poke you on this very last stanza. But that will be after the short break.
All right, no problem.
And I hope you are with us. This is Behind the Words, and we are treating The Ghost Gun. The book we are reviewing at the moment is The Ghost Gun, written by Mr. Eric. He's right here in the studio with me. We'll go out on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll take it from here. Welcome back To Behind the Words, in case you're just joining us, we have been discussing The Ghost Gone, a book written by Mr. Eric, who is right here in the studio with me. We have been flipping through the pages of The Ghost Gone, trying to see the big picture behind all the words he has written. Right now, we are discussing one of the poems, I think the first poem on the novel. Mr. Eric, you're welcome back.
Thank you.
Let's see how we can digest the remaining stanza of the poem. I'll read it again. My heart travels miles away to my native land. My dream intertwines with sadness like a loom. Innocent, we have endured a year in the bush, using our fears for ink to turn our thoughts into verses. This very stanza, it's a little bit difficult to understand actually because it's a poem.
Yes.
Yes. So there's a big picture behind it. That's one. Two, I have a question. The question I have is Azza himself speaking here,
Yes.
or you, the writer, the one writing, you brought out this because this is what you feel, this are your thoughts, you brought it here in order to be able to start the next chapter, because I think chapter 1 ended here, right? And the next chapter began. So I don't know.
You see, if you go through the book, each chapter starts with
A poem.
Okay. And that is the poetry aspect of it. And I love poems so much because they are just like the opium.
True.
So they intoxicate you because they are always painting. Each time you are reading poems, just know that there is a big meaning behind. You understand?
Yeah.
They are just like, because you'll be reading something, but you'll be subject. The writer sometimes use such dictions to subject you into deep thinking. The choice of words of a writer. So when you're picking them, you make sure that you're setting your readers in context so that they should be able to subject themselves into thinking to able to bring out the meaning. Now here you see the protagonist was talking that his heart traveled miles. Sometimes when your society where you are staying become uncomfortable for you, you seek comfort in another place so that you'll be comfortable. But don't forget that is your society. That is where you're coming from. When I was a child, or when I was during my undergraduate, if I'm going back to school, the only thing my mother would tell me is, know where you're coming from. And I always put that at the back of my mind. Because I always know where I'm coming from. So if I go there, if I misbehave, I will not remain there forever. I'm coming back. What am I coming back with? This is our society. We cannot abandon it. No matter the killings and everything, we will still continue to support it until everything fall into place. So he was talking, even though his heart traveled miles. It's just like I'm using a kind of figure of speech to paint the scenario.
Yeah, true.
Your heart cannot travel. That is personification. And personification simply means when human attributes are being given to an object.
Yes.
You understand? His heart travels miles. But definitely, he's going to come back to his society. And what is the right thing to do? To come back and face the situation. Sometimes we cause havoc here and there, and we run out of the country. We will still come back. The situation is here waiting for us. And I'm trying to paint a picture that, especially the elites, what they are doing, they should be mindful. Because the legacy they are leaving, it will continue to be there. Their imprint should be positively written on the walls, so that even they are no more there, people can enjoy this thing, people can be happy, people will feel excited. But when you are digging big graves for people, and know that the consequences are there, even though if you're no more there, it will backfire one day. Even if it will not affect you, your children, or your grandchildren, it will continue down the way. And that was when his heart traveled. He realized that what I ran away from my society is not the best option. Let me come back and face the situation.
So he came back.
He came back. And he was able to face the Ghost Gone. If you go through at the end, you will see the outcome of his boldness and courage.
Okay, now the last line on the last stanza where you said, using our tears for ink to turn our thoughts into verses.
Yes.
What verses? Verses like the verses of a poem, or the verses of vitriol, or what are you?
Literally, the verses of a poem.
Okay.
Now, sometimes I was trying to see that, okay, our tears, people are crying, how can we wipe away their tears? It's for us to do the needful. So it's a kind of a coinage.
Okay. So use the tears now.
Yes.
Use it, turn it into an ink.
Yes. You
so that
write.
so that you can pour out the
When
thoughts.
we are in primary school, we use pencil. We write and all these things so that we can have the capacity to maybe later clean everything if we are making mistakes and know that. And that was the situation. He's there, he can come back and remake the world, the whole society, for a better place. That does not mean the ink there, it will not be as in static. There's some kind of dynamism in it. Okay. One day things will surely change, and it will, the blood, everything will go off.
Okay. Still on the poem.
Yes.
The first page, the first chapter, also have a poem.
Yes.
It began with a poem.
Yes, yes.
Where you said, "Move him into the grave gently. Its touch awoke him." Awoke the dead?
Oh, it's not awoken. Yes, the dead.
Okay.
There are some people who died, and you just feel, I have the power to raise them. They don't deserve to die.
Okay. At home, whispering of field and sown, until this might rouse him now. Think how it awakens the seeds. Go in there, achieved limbs, full nerved, still warm, too hard to leap, to break earth's sleep at all sides. Silently appear and disappear. Grasp, oh, what made fatuous sunbeams toil. Night falls upon clay and grew tall. With the night cold, the breeze sleeps not at all.
Yeah, that is the protagonist speaking. He was on a bamboo chair, just thinking, cogitating, thinking, okay, what's happening? Because before then, the society where he never witnessed such thing. He never witnessed that kind of hullabaloo. But why now? Why are things turning this way? If you are in this country, yesteryears, things were not like this. We never knew issue of Boko Haram, banditry. Even if they are there, things were not much. But of recent, just see the level at which things are just escalating or skyrocketing. Where are we going? If things from yesteryears, things were not like this, and if today things are like this, what will happen tomorrow?
Okay, still, please, lastly, we don't have much time.
All right.
Lastly, my question is reflecting the poems here. I have also been a poet. I write poems, you understand, and I've been writing poems.
I know that quite well.
For a very long time.
Yes.
But then, people, how do you think people will definitely understand? Thank God we have this session where all this will be explained. The big picture behind the words would be brought to light, you understand, for people to really see what you're trying to say. And the poems are actually very difficult to understand, especially if you're not in like mind, if you don't have literary mind to really, appreciate the poem, and also try to see how you can, read between the lines and get the big picture behind it.
Yes, yes.
You understand? But
yes.
Now that you have started explaining some of these poems, I think people would really understand it.
Exactly.
Because when I was also going through it, despite the fact that I am a writer, I'm also a poet, but then I found it difficult to really understand.
You see, most of us, when we started writing, we have people that we were looking up to.
True.
And you were one of such people. Back then, when we were in BUK, I know, I go to the old mass com department, I look at some of your poems, they were so touching. I will come back, lock myself in the room, in my hostel. Wow, if he can do this, I think, sometimes I will tap meaning Then I will come back and try to see what I can be able to, at the end, compose myself.
True.
You understand?
Yes.
And when I gave a thought in the course of, I've read so many books, but have not come across a book that combines both poetry and prose.
True.
Most of the time, a writer could just, if you're a dramatist, you choose to write drama, or you are an author, you choose to write novel, or if you're maybe a poet, you tend to write poetry.
Poems, yes.
But it's sometimes it is very quite difficult to see people. And when I now put myself, I say, okay, the language of poem is very difficult to understand. If I put the whole write-ups in poetry, people will find it difficult to understand a poem. And that was why I combine it. If every chapter starts with a poem, and what happens in the poem, I translate it in the prose.
In the prose.
Yes.
Wow.
So that even if you don't have a picture behind the words of the poem, you'll be able to capture it in the prose.
Wow, this is wonderful. All right, Mr. Eric, we have not really gone far. I think we have just taken the very first poem. You know, not the first poem on the book, but the first poem we have decided to take. And I hope our viewers have been watching us. This is The Ghost Gone, and we have been flipping through the pages of The Ghost Gone, trying to see how we can bring out the big picture behind the words Mr. Eric has written down. You know, there are plenty of words here, but well, we'll take it one after the other. We have not really gone far. We have just started. The journey has just begun, and I hope you will be on our, on our carriage, so that we can go through this journey together, so that we can understand the big picture behind The Ghost Gone. Mr. Eric, we have come to the end of today's episode, but we'll take the next episode so that we can also see how we can digest some of these paragraphs, read out the paragraphs, you elucidate, we digest, so that we can make our viewers to really understand the big picture, or see the big picture behind the words. And I want to say thank you very much for taking our time to come on for this show, and also taking our time to explain. Anyway, they are your ideas. You know better, and I will say thank you very much. May God take you back home safely. And I will say thank you very much for being part of Behind the Words. Without you, Behind the Words will never be the program it is. We will continue this very book in our next episode. And until next time, bye-bye.